Good morning, guys. It's Wandering Whisperer 29 here. I thought I'd make a video associated with nature, and more specifically Earth Day, which is a day in the year when people respect the earth and try and save as much energy as possible. As you can see, this is a video of my garden. You can see my cat pottering around in the background in the garden, and he's very excited because it's a nice day, so he's quite happy to be out there. So you'll just see him wandering about, and the leaves rustling in the wind and stuff like that. I thought it would be quite a nice image. So I've got a few quotes to read out to you, and also some facts about Earth Day. So I'm just going to do that. It's not going to be a particularly long video. Okay, so first of all, I've got a few quotes related to Earth Day from a website that I use quite often, which is quotegarden.com. I don't know if you can hear the birds in the background. I'm glad you can't see my cat right now because he's actually going to the toilet in the garden. He's just about there, but luckily the chair and table are covering him up. So I'm quite happy you can't see him. But anyway. Okay, so a few quotes here. Every day is Earth Day, and that's by an unknown author. I conceive that the land belongs to a vast family, of which many are dead, few are living, and countless numbers are still unborn. That's by a chieftain from Nigeria. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children. That's a Native American proverb. There are no passengers on Spaceship Earth, we are all crew. That's Marshall McLuhan, 1964. Thank God men cannot fly and lay waste the sky as well as the earth. And that's Henry David Thoreau, and I'm assuming that's obviously before the first flight. There's so much pollution in the air now that if it weren't for our lungs, there'd be no place to put it all. That's Robert Auburn. I'm not an environmentalist, I'm an earth warrior. That's Darrell Cherney, quoted in Smithsonian, April 1990. Suburbia is where the developer bulldozes out the trees and then names the streets after them. That's Bill Vaughan, quoted in John Winoker's The Portable Curmudgeon, 1987. For 200 years we've been conquering nature, now we're beating it to death. I've just used that as my Facebook status. And it's Tom Macmillan, quoted in Francesca Lyman's The Greenhouse Trap, 1990. I only went out for a walk and finally concluded to stay out till sundown. For going out, I found I was really going in. That's John Muir, 1913, in L.M. Wolfe's John Muir, John of the Mountains, the Unpublished Journals of John Muir, 1938. I would feel more optimistic about a bright future for man if he spent less time proving that he can outwit nature and more time tasting her sweetness and respecting her seniority. That's Elwyn Brooks White, Essays of E.B. White, 1977. A living planet is much more complex metaphor for deity than just a bigger father with a bigger fist. If an omniscient, all-powerful dad ignores your prayers, it's taken personally. Hear only silence long enough and you start wondering about his power, his fairness, his very existence. But if a world mother doesn't reply, her excuse is simple. She never claimed conceited omnipotence. She has countless others clinging to her apron strings, including myriad species unable to speak for themselves. To her elder offspring, she says, "Go raid the fridge, go play outside, go get a job, or better yet, lend me a hand. I have no time for idle whining." That's David Brin. Till now, man has been up against nature. From now on, he will be up against his own nature. Dennis Gabor, Inventing the Future, 1963. Take nothing but pictures, leave nothing but footprints, kill nothing but time. That's a motto of the Baltimore Grotto, a caving society, and I've actually printed that. I've made a poster of that and printed it and put it in my bedroom because I just think that's a fantastic motto to live by. Obviously it's quite difficult to follow in these material worlds, but I really like it, and I did consider actually getting it tattooed on me at one point, but I didn't go through that. Oh, you can't quite see. No, you can't see it. There he is. He's so beautiful. It's my baby. Humankind has not woven the web of life. We are but one thread within it. Whatever we do to the web, we do to ourselves. All things are bound together. All things connect. That's Chief Seattle, 1855. Man must feel the earth to know himself and recognise his values. God made life simple, it's man who complicates it. That's Charles A. Lindbergh, Reader's Digest, July 1972. After a visit to the beach, it's hard to believe that we live in a material world. That's Pam Shaw. Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. Nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and the storms their energy. While cares will drop off like autumn leaves. That's John Muir. Oh beautiful, for smoggy skies, insecticided grain, for strip-mined mountains, majesty above the asphalt plain. America, America, man sheds his waste on thee, and hides the pines with billboard signs from sea to oily sea. And that was George Carlin. Environmentalists have long been fond of saying that the sun is the only safe nuclear reactor, situated as it is some 93 million miles away. That's Stephanie Mills in Praise of Nature, 1990. Humanity is on the march, Earth itself is left behind. David Ehrenfeld, The Arrogance of Humanism, 1978. It is the safest of times, it is the riskiest of times. What the dickens is going on here? That's Denton Morrison on Chemicals, Technology and Risk, quoted in National Academy of Sciences, Improving Risk Communication, 1989. Never does nature say one thing and wisdom another. That's Juvenal in Satires. There is a pleasure in the pathless woods. There is a rapture on the lonely shore. There is a society where none intrudes. By the deep sea and music in its roar, I love not man the less, but nature more. That's George Gordon, Lord Byron, Childe Harold's Pilgrimage. There is hope if people will begin to awaken that spiritual part of themselves, that heartfelt knowledge that we are caretakers of this planet. That's Brooke Medicine Eagle. You can't be suspicious of a tree, or accuse a bird or a squirrel of subversion, or challenge the ideology of a violet. That's Hal Borland, Sundial of the Seasons, 1964. And this, our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. That's William Shakespeare. Only when the last tree has died, and the last river be poisoned, and the last fish be caught, will we realise we cannot eat money. That's a Cree Indian proverb. Okay, now I'm going to read out some facts from a site called, it's called, the title of the site I think is Symposium on Sustainability, and their website is sustainability.und.edu. Earth Day is on the 22nd of April every year, and it's a day set aside to honour the Earth. And there are some things that happen 365 times a year, which is what I'm going to read out now. Earth will travel 1.6 million miles in its annual journey around the Sun. The 4.6 billionth such round trip, it will rotate about its axis exactly once. The Sun will travel 13.5 million miles around the centre of the Milky Way galaxy. The Sun will fuse 51.8 billion tonnes of hydrogen into 51.5 billion tonnes of helium. Lest you worry, it will have the capacity to do this for another 5 billion years or so. The other 0.3 billion tonnes will be released as energy. Einstein's E equals mc squared. The energy poured forth in all directions each day is 10 trillion kilowatt hours. The fraction of this energy that bathes the Earth powers nearly everything that lives there. The fraction of the Sun's energy intercepted by the Earth at the top of its atmosphere is 6,000 trillion kilowatt hours, about 600,000 times the quantity Americans consume in a day. The population of the world will grow by 211,000 people. A new Akron, Ohio will be added every day. 40,000 acres of land, an area about the size of Boise, Idaho, will be converted to desert. 200 million tonnes of topsoil will be lost through erosion from croplands. 50,000 acres of forest will be eliminated. Between 20 and 500 species will disappear from the planet forever. We know so little about the family of life to which we belong that we cannot quantify the damage we are inflicting upon it. We do know that extinctions are occurring 100 to 1,000 times faster than the normal background rate. People will consume more than 3 billion gallons of oil. Burning the oil and other fossil fuels will release 70 million tonnes of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, slowly but surely nudging the planet's temperature upward. 3 million tonnes of iron ore, 575,000 tonnes of tin, 330,000 tonnes of bauxite for aluminium, and 34,000 tonnes of copper will be ripped from the Earth. 800 million people will go to bed hungry and wake up too weak to live productive lives. 18,000 children will die from chronic hunger, malnutrition, and related diseases. The world will spend $3 billion on military expenditures, half by one country. $2 billion will be invested in research and development. This will result in the publication of 1,900 science and engineering articles and granting of 150 patents. 4,000 books will be published. 1.3 billion children will be educated in pre-primary, primary and secondary schools. And 97 billion email messages will be sent, more than 40 billion of which will be spam. Okay, so that's it. I told you it wouldn't be a particularly long video. I hope you enjoyed watching my garden. It's just gone 10 o'clock in the morning, so it's quite early, so it's a nice time of day. Thank you for watching. Take care.